hearing is supposed to be focused on the budget review for CEQ. I'd like to at least start off with some questions about the actual budget and how the money is being spent. But I think it's first really important to clarify for the people that are listening out there in the general public that the CEQ started at pre-COVID numbers at $2.89 million for their annual budget. And while the request now is at nearly double that, $4.67 million, they need to understand government creep. They need to understand the expansion of government. And so that is just a minuscule amount as compared to what the agency is actually receiving or has already received. So according to my numbers, we're looking at another $163 million in either transfers and unexpired, unobligated funds that is going to go to CEQ between now and the end of fiscal 25. Most of that as a direct result of the so-called Inflation Reduction Act, which has been documented by economic experts to have contributed dramatically to the historic inflation under the Biden administration. So while you're requesting $4.67 million, that's not an accurate description of what the agency is actually going to have access to and how they can expand. As a matter of fact, when you look at it, $63 million has been provided. You're going to have another $58 million provided in fiscal 24 and another $42 million provided in fiscal 25. If you add all that up, that is 35 years worth of what the budget would be under the inflated number that the president's asking for now. Under the pre-COVID number of $2.89 million a year is what your budget was. That would run your agency for 56 years. 56 years. And people wonder why we have inflation, and people wonder why government is out of control. That is an obscene amount of money to be sent to your agency. No offense to you, Chair Mallory, but it's an obscene amount of money that's being sent to your agency to basically be utilized to attack business and industry across our nation, which has been demonstrated by the questions that have been asked here today. You stated that the administration has invested $1 billion in permitting capacity, yet there's been a significant slowdown in permitting and leasing under this administration. Could you provide clarity on exactly where this $1 billion has been allocated?
Thank you so much for that question. I would say to start off with, the president asked for the $4.6 million because of the work that he is directed
Please
us
go
to
to my
do.
question, Ms. Mallory. I've got these numbers. Again, it's a grotesque amount of money that your agency is receiving. $163 million between what you have already received and what you're going to receive over the next 2 years on an agency that Congress thinks and looks on paper and sees that the requested 4.6, let's go back to the 2.89. Let's go back to the 2.89 million. It's an obscene amount. So please, where's this $1 billion?
The $1 billion actually did not come directly to CEQ. The $1 billion went to the multiple agencies who have a permitting role. That's the $1 billion that everyone's been referring to. And so that's to help
It's referred to in your
agencies.
testimony as well, though.
Excuse me?
It's referred to in
It's
your
in my
testimony.
testimony, $1 billion that went to
Yeah.
agencies. It didn't come to CEQ. It went to a number of different agencies who have a role in permitting.
But the permitting has been slowed down. In your
The permitting
testimony, you
actually-
note that the bipartisan permitting reform implementation rule will accelerate the review of all projects. And yet, when you listed the type of projects that will be accelerated, I can't help but notice that the baseload energy projects, which are critical, have been left out. When the potential capacity of electric generation is cited by you or by other documents or other people that come in here, it is very misleading when most of the power is unreliable or intermittent at best. Most wind farms are rated somewhere between 35 and 40% of full capacity, okay? Full capacity at 35 to 40% of the time. And solar energy is even lower than that. So what is necessary for us, okay, as a population to provide backup when these intermittent or reliable sources are not available?
I'm not even sure what you're asking me.
When the intermittent or unreliable sources such as solar and wind are not available, because they're only available 35 to 40% of the time at full capacity, what is necessary to provide that energy?
I guess what I would say, Congressman, is that we don't accept your premise that these things are being managed in a way where there's going to leave the American public without energy. We're very focused on the transition.
Chair Mallory, I'm asking you what's going to provide that energy, because it is a fact that energy is only available 35 to 40% of the time.
Gentleman's time has expired.